Alright, Carl and friends, today I'm making vegetable beef soup because it's a cold, nasty, dreary day outside and it's a perfect soup day. And this is the perfect soup to go with it. It's got beef, it's got potatoes, green beans, corn, okra, green beans, the tomatoes. It's perfect for a day like today. And I'm going to show you how I make it. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing to start the soup is I've got pans heated up. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of each pot. And then we're going to add the meat. And I'm using ground beef in these. Put that in there. Brown the meat. Stir this around and brown the meat till it's nice and brown. Break it up a bit before we add anything else to it. Try and break it up with a spoon some as I do this. Okay, so I'm just going to keep browning this until the meat's all nice and cooked and browned through, and then we'll start adding in our vegetables and other goodies to it. Okay, the meat is brown now in both pots, as you can see. So my next step, camera back up here, is we're going to add the tomatoes. I'm going to add 3 cans. These are 3 large cans to each pot. Of diced tomatoes with basil, garlic, and oregano. I'm putting 3 of those in each. Okay, so there's the tomatoes. Let me give those a stir real quick. The reason I'm making 2 pots of soup, by the way, is because I'm going to freeze most of this. It's going to go in containers and go in the freezer. And I will actually eat on this for pretty much the next year. This stuff freezes beautifully. As a matter of fact, just the other night I finished off the very last container of last year's soup. So it's time to make more. So that stir there. Go. All right, to that, to each pot, 2 cans of tomato paste, one. All right, 2 for that pot. Pauline's trying to assist me here. Pauline likes my soup, by the way, just for the record. Even the okra part. One more can for the second pot. After that's going to be some diced potatoes. Put a couple of these in each pot. So just fresh cut diced potatoes. If you want to use real potatoes or actual potatoes that you buy in the store, whole potatoes, you can do that. Do not use baking potatoes if you do, because they will get soggy and fall apart on you. They'll get mushy. So you need to use waxy potatoes when you do this. All right, there we go. Alright, there's the potato portion. Give it another stir here. Next, I'm going to put in okra. If you don't like okra, you don't have to put it in. I happen to love okra. But you can use whatever vegetables you want to use in your soup. Rest in here. Next will be corn. I'm just using a whole bag of corn for each pot. Although one pot's bigger than the other, so I may have to adjust here. I gotta leave room for my green beans. There you go. Green beans come in next. Then my secret ingredient. Most people, when they make soup and they've got the meat done and all that, they add water to it to make the broth, or they'll add bouillon or something like that, beef stock or something. I don't do that. I use this instead. V8 juice. This stuff will turn your soup into something amazing, and it's not going to taste like V8 soup when you eat it, trust me. It's going to give it a very rich broth taste to it. When I make this, people can never figure out how I do that. I've never been able to figure out the secret. Like I said, it doesn't taste like you put V8 in it. So, one for that one. Put some in here. And I'm just using regular V8. You can use low sodium if you want to. You can use the spicy V8 if you want to. That's up to you. But V8 does amazing things to the soup. Add a little bit more over here. That's a bigger pot. And there we go. So now we're going to give these a good stir. And like I said, this is going to make a lot of soup. Now these are going to simmer for several hours here on the stove. Stir this one around. Try and get the meat up here mixed in with it. I also usually add a little bit of some different seasonings. I'll add some Italian seasoning to it. I'll add some Worcestershire sauce to it. It's my own personal preference. You can add whatever you want to it. I'm not going to add salt to it until after it's simmered for several hours, and then I'll taste it for seasoning. If it needs more salt, then I'll add it. If not, then I won't. But you do not want your soup to be too salty. So that's why I'm not adding salt to it right now. Alright, so that's nice and well mixed. We're going to put the lid on that. And let them simmer. Okay. Soup's been simmering for about an hour and a half now. So I'm adding some Italian seasoning to the soup, to both pots. And it's just Italian seasoning that you get from the spice aisle at the grocery store. So you want to add that. Good healthy dose of that to both pots. Might look like a lot on top, but once I stir it in, it's going to be okay. Alright, and then I'm also going to add my favorite condiment, Worcestershire sauce. So we're going to add some good dashes of this. Actually, dashes is probably not the right word. More than a dash, but whatever. Okay. I'm going to stir those in carefully. This pot is like brimming to the full. I need a bigger pot. I need another pot that size for soup. I always end up with a pot brimming over of soup when I do this every year. But that's okay. So stir this around, get it all mixed in. And again, you'll notice I'm not adding salt or pepper at this point. I'm going to let it simmer again for several more hours. The longer it simmers, the better it is. And then once it's done that, I will come back and check it for seasoning. And then if I need to add salt, I will. Again, you don't want your soup to be too salty. Rather add salt later than have it too salty. So I have not added any salt at all to this. So give that a good stir. Put that lid on. Give this one a good stir. Like that. And again, whatever vegetables and seasoning you want to use, that's up to you. It's your soup. This is what I do and what I've always done. And people I've shared this with seem to really like it, so this is what I do. But you know, if you don't like okra, don't put okra in it. Find something else. If you want to put beans in it, which I would never do because I hate beans, but you know, whatever vegetables you want to use, that's what you need to use in your soup, because you're the one that's going to be eating this. So give that a good stir. There we go. Put the lid on this. Alright, I'm going to go back in simmer mode for several more hours. And then when I come back, after I've had a nap, I will check it for seasoning, for salt, pepper, see if I need to adjust any of that. And then it's going to be ready to go. Okay, soup's been simmering for several hours now, so I'm going to give it a little taste test and see if I need to add anything to it. Need some salt. So let me add some salt to it. Grab my kosher salt here. pot, so. Give that a start. This one. Get a fresh spoon, taste that again. Oh yeah. Much better. Good stuff. So, the lid's back on. Let it simmer for probably about another hour, and then the stuff is going to be good to go. Okay, so that's been simmering for about 5 hours total since I started cooking. You can see the finished product here. It's delicious. We got beef, we got potatoes, corn, green beans, okra. The tomatoes are in there. Absolutely delicious. And I've got 18 containers of soup that are going in the freezer. That's going to feed me for quite a while. So that's going to do good for me. So on a dreary day like today, this is exactly what you need. Hope you like it.